Welcome back. You're watching The Pulse. So, soaring demand, limited resources and high costs equals one big healthcare headache. But here's a company which is building fast on what appears to be a winning formula. South African-based medical insurer Discovery launched its Vitality program about a decade ago. It likens it to Air Miles for Health, a program which effectively rewards policyholders for doing exercise, eating well, hitting the gym, hitting fitness targets, giving up chocolate, you know the score. And its share price pretty much speaks for itself. Over the past year, it's risen around 50%, valuing the company at more than $4.5 billion. Take it back to 2007, and that increase is well over 100%. And it hopes recent partnerships and acquisitions in the US, the UK, and China will see it go even higher. Let's find out what happens next with this business. Adrian Gore is the CEO and co-founder of Discovery Holdings. He joins us now from Joburg. Nice to see you, Adrian. Just to confirm the numbers this time, I've got these correct. We've got a slight decline in the net line. We're down by around 15%. Just going to walk us through the highlights of the latest numbers, and then we'll talk about the future of this business.
Well, I think the highlights are that the operating profit of our business grew by about 21%. Off new business of a 24% growth. So the highlight, I think, throughout the entire organisation, both locally in our South African market and in the UK particularly, I think the growth has been very, very robust. And I think in addition to the numbers themselves, the actual integrity and validity of the model of incentivizing people to be healthier has proven to be remarkably strong and robust. So it has been a very, very good year for us.
What is the outlook? What are the expectations moving forward, and what kind of growth rates can you deliver?
Well, you know, we have a fairly ambitious target of trying to achieve CPI price inflation plus 10%. So we've been our earnings growth has been around 20% compound for the last decade. I think we can achieve that for the next couple of years, and we're optimistic about it.
What kind of sort of story ultimately are we going to get to here? A lot of the healthcare companies are looking at your model. I have to say, some experience of the Prudential story here in the UK, this incentivization to go to the gym, to give up the things that are bad for you. How much more has that market got to give? If you look at mortality rates and you look at the lifestyle impact, there's still plenty to go here, isn't there?
I think the effect of wellness and lifestyle choices is fundamental on healthcare costs and on mortality. So if you can adjust how people make decisions about lifestyle, and you can use incentives to do that, the effect is dramatic in healthcare costs. We've seen that people engaged in our program bring down hospital costs by 15% or thereabout. We're seeing the effect on our entire base of the stability it creates. So I think for healthcare systems and life insurance markets, the effect is dramatic.
Can you roll this out into non-private healthcare? Would this work elsewhere at a government level? Is this something that you've thought about? Do you have discussions with say, the NHS here in the UK?
Well, we have had discussions in a variety of different areas. I mean, it's a fairly generic idea. There is no doubt that if you change incentives, people see wellness in long term. They're kind of overly optimistic, and they just don't engage in these things unless you break the cycle and use incentives. And there's no reason why they shouldn't work in a public policy environment around healthcare systems that are government sponsored. So we have had a number of discussions. I mean, I think our focus is on what we're doing, and we've got our hands full with a lot of potential growth. But there is no doubt that these kinds of systems can and should work in a public perspective.
You've got lots of relationships up and running at the moment, Ping An, Pru Health. You've got relationships in the States as well. Any ongoing discussions that may lead to some more big names being pulled in?
You know, the model is so applicable that I think there are a lot of potential partners for us to utilize the capability with. I think we've been quite judicious as to how we roll it out and make sure it works. Understand that incentives and these structures are very local in how people interpret them. So while it's repeatable and scalable, we need to be very careful in the approach we've taken. So we have got excellent partnerships, and there are potentials down the line, but I think the growth potential coming out of what we have, I think, is remarkable.
You talk about the scalability. What is the kind of incremental cost increase for you guys for every person you effectively add into a scheme?
The costs are not dramatic. I mean, the technology, the systems, the actuarial and clinical data, the learnings, all of that is embedded. So that kind of thing can be scaled. I think the issue is how you interpret that into a different market, how you get that out, how you distribute that product, how you get traction, how you get engagement. Those are challenges, but we're learning how to do it, and there are many companies around the world that would like to do it with us.
You guys set this business up at a difficult time in your country's history, sort of coming out of the going into the post-apartheid era. Very difficult for people to look at a South African company with any degree of clarity. Do you feel that recent events in the country, and we've heard from various politicians of late talking about this, the recent events at Marikana, etc., have made it harder to be a South African business?
No, I don't. I think that our country is robust. I think it has great potential. I think we have challenges like Marikana and others, not dissimilar to other countries. And we found out of complexity of our environment come solutions. Vitality is one of them. In the environment of great complexity in healthcare, we have a system that works, I think, remarkably well. So, on the contrary, we are optimistic and proud of our country, frankly.
And you don't think that there'll be any impact, sort of long-term impact? This thing needs to get settled and settled quickly, but once that's done and dusted, there won't be any longevity to it?
No, I think that there are obviously complex issues around inequality, and these are issues that a country has to deal with, but I do think they will be settled. And I think as South Africans, we have a very proud history of ultimately negotiating, working together well. And these are complex, painful matters, but I do think they will be settled.
Adrian, great to get your take on what's happening both with your business and elsewhere in the country. Adrian Gore, the CEO of Discovery Holdings. Thank you for your time.